High frequencies, everybody. Peace and bliss to everybody who's watching. Fresh out the dream realm. Kind of a little bit. I haven't tapped in a couple of days because on Monday my dreams were very, very chaotic. And I may go into what happened in that. Tuesday, Monday night, it was, let me see, Sunday night, Monday was chaotic, and then Monday night going into Tuesday, I really didn't understand what the dreams were meaning. It was a little different, but it was symbolism, a lot of symbolism there. So I am going to go into the dream. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I just woke up. The dream that I had last night, waking up right now. So, let me go into it. Okay, so the first part of the dream, I was preparing with, it was seemed to be like friends and coworkers, and we worked at this huge science plant lab place. It was a high-end facility that we worked at, and we were packing up. We were planning. We were supposed to go on a trip, like we were leaving to go on a trip. Now this trip, I'm not quite sure where, why, but it started to reveal as the dream went on, and everybody was packing up in white vans. We were in white vans and we was traveling. And we made a stop at another one of the facilities, science labs, on our journey. And so we made the stop. I'm not quite sure why. I think we were loading up some more people or switching out people, whatever. I'm not quite sure. But it was several of these huge white vans, almost like a big Greyhound bus, but they were white. They were really big. And so each bus contained people within that bus that they had some type of connection with, or they were either friends or family. They had some type of value system, belief system that was the same. So I get out the van, and not quite sure how. Oh, sorry. But when I get out the van, I look up and I couldn't find my van. So while I'm looking for the bus that I was in, and I think it was gone, I was going through the other ones, and then I see that they left. So I'm like, oh my God, like all the buses and vans are gone that were going up to this destination. So I was stuck at the lab. So I'm like, okay, my bag that has all my supplies in it, even my cell phone was in this bag on the bus. I said, how could they not know? Oh, excuse me. How could they not know that they left me? But we didn't have any type of head count or anything. It was just I was relying on my friends to realize that I wasn't there. So I'm at the lab. I'm stuck there. So I'm looking around. I'm trying to see who has a phone that'll let me use. So I was asking people, like, let me use your phone. So one guy was like, here, he let me use his phone. So I called my friend that was on the bus. It's funny because the number that I called is another friend of mine. So the number I called in the dream is actually another friend of mine here in this reality. And nobody answered. It went to her voicemail. And I was like, oh my God, they're not going to know. She's probably out of range and they can't get the calls because her phone is probably roaming. So I was like, I need to send them an email. Maybe if I send them an email there, get the email. So one of the guys that worked at the front, he was like check-in person, secretary, whatever, at the front desk. He was like the first person you see. He was on the computer. I was like, let me use your computer to let me get into my email. And he was looking at me, and I was like, I work here. I know this system. Like, my email is a part of the system. I'm trying to send in an internal email from me to her. He was like, oh, okay. He didn't know that I worked there because everything on that system is private. So before I could go in to start sending the email, I get pulled into seeing that a couple of the vans pulled up. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. So I said, they must realize that they left somebody. So I go back around to the van. When I go around to get into the van, it wasn't my van. It wasn't my van initially. It was some other van. So I was telling them, I was like, do you all know where my van is? Da, 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 da. And they was like, I think they're gone. They shouldn't be too far, though. So I was like, don't worry about it. I can just ride with you all so we can get to the hotel. And they was like, oh, no, because, again, remember I told you, everybody on the van had some type of connection. They were either same belief system, family, friends, something. Something binded these people to be in the van. It was like you had to be a part of whatever they were to be in their van. So one of the vans I went in, like, everybody on that van were Christian. And so he looked around and he was like, I don't know if you can get on this van. Because they all had that church. It was like a church and they all had the same belief system, and they knew that I didn't. And so, and with them, they were afraid of the shapeshifters. They was afraid to see if I was a shapeshifter. And so he was showing me, he was able to kind of project into my mind mentally and show me what the shapeshifter was if that was me. And so he put my energy to the test. So I had to project. It's hard to explain, so bear with me. He showed me telepathically a person who, when they walk through these different shadows, or what I would call light energy, or frequencies of light that's projected out, somewhere light, somewhere dim. It's like shadows. It's kind of like you have a dark shadow, then medium, then gray, and then the sunlight, and then it goes. When these people walk through these different frequencies of light waves, they shifted. They shape-shifted. And it was really like, you really don't know that they're shape-shifting unless you can actually see them. So I walked through the shade and I was finding shapeshift, but then I saw this other being that was walking through these different light wave frequency, and they were shifting to, different looks. Like, they looked different, but they were just walking just like regular people would walk, but they were shape-shifting. So anyway, I was like, wow. So I didn't know that, but he was able to allow me to see it. And I was like, oh my God. So I didn't want to be on that bus anyway. So I was just like, okay, cool. So anyway, I ended up getting on another bus that was similar to mine so we could leave, right? Now, I do recall there being, and the dream shifting, a part of it is vague because it didn't just flow in sequence. But I do recall some type of battle, or it was some type of war battle that occurred. So after I was able to see the shapeshifters in the light wave frequencies, after I was able to see the shapeshifter from light wave frequencies, my energy projected to another realm in which I was able to, I was interacting with some other type of beings, and we were fighting. But I felt like I was powerful over them. I wasn't afraid of them. I wasn't getting tortured or tormented, but we were actually fighting. And my energy overpowered them. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to have to go back into meditation, or just lay in bed and go into a theta state, put my brain into theta state to recall what actually occurred. So yeah, not quite sure the significance of all the white vans. and everybody having to be linked some type of way to be in those vans. But the main part that stuck out to me again was the part where the man that was the driver of the van, and that was the van that everybody were like Christians, or there was a church, that he was able to project to me telepathically, and I was able to see what he was saying about testing me to see if I was a shapeshifter, and walking through those different life frequencies, and me able to see the shapeshifters and me not being a shapeshifter. So that stuck out a lot to me. I do want to get recall on that battle or that fight against these other entities. I'm not quite sure what that meant at all. But if I do have recall, I will tap back in before the day gets going. But I did want to share that because I know it's been a couple of days I haven't shared my dreams, and I've still been dreaming. I dreamed last night. It was some monkeys that touched down into a different realm of existence on Earth. And there were 4 generations, and each generation, when they projected themselves here, they said that the frequency was too low. The frequency was too low. Every time they came in, they said the frequency was too low, and they left out. So it was really weird. Night before last, that dream was weird as well. So won't get into that because there's a lot going on. But I did want to put that information out there on the science lab that I work for. Trying to call, trying to email the vans, seeing the shapeshifters through the frequency of light, different wavelengths of light, and then being tested to see if I was a shapeshifter, which I wasn't, and then being able to get back on the van, make that travel, and then we were traveling. It was like something was about to happen. We knew something was about to happen. We had to leave, but then we ran into, I was projected, and I had to fight against some other energy entities. So that was my dream. And I definitely thank you for whenever you decide to watch this, if it's now, if it's in the future or past, time is an illusion. Nothing is really real. So whenever you do watch this, it is meant for you to hear and to listen and to possibly help me decipher what all of this means in this realm. All right. Thank you so much. Higher frequencies.